as my next question, Maestro, I would like to ask you about the collaboration between composer and performers. How should be the collaboration between the composer and performer?
It's a fundamental, of course, especially when you have to work on instruments that you can't play, that you don't have not under your fingers. For Erma and for the pieces with guitar, the situation is a little strange because the collaboration between composer and performer is with me as a composer and myself as a performer, because I repeat, I tested everything on the guitar on the first level of works. Then, of course, it's very important to have a feedback with the player instruments. And for example, this is what happened with the electric guitar. It's really important to start working from the first step with the performance, with the performer, because it's not enough to read scores, to listen to videos, to performances on the web, for example. It's really important to have something like a brainstorming with the performer, to have many things shown by him about the possibilities of instruments, and it's very important to test immediately, to test as soon as possible your ideas with the instrument. One can collaborate just from the beginning of this with the player. I think that this is the best work with a performer. I don't like to write a piece in my room and then I score to the performer and I wait for a performance. I like to work together when possible. Not always is really possible, but when I can, I think that it's really amazing because I can have a lot of surprises, lot of discoveries, and this for a composer is really, really important. And so I have to say, I have to thank, I think, almost all the players that worked with me, because maybe I'm lucky, but I always found very curious people and people that was always ready to give advices, give suggestions. Of course, always with a lot of respect, remembering that they are not the composers. But so they did their job, giving suggestions, not trying to influence too much my work. Then of course, I was the one that that had to take the decisions. But with many suggestions, with many advices, it was always easier to find, I think, good ways for good solution for the pieces, I think. So I repeat, it's really, really important, and that I always try to give to my students. Go and work with the instrumentalists. Go and work with players. Also, if you don't have immediately to write something for that instrument, but if you know a good flute player, for example, ask him to give you 1 hour for a tour about the instrument. This change your view about the instrument. For example, I want to remember a little thing that happened with another instrument, with the accordion. It's an instrument that since many years ago, I have to say, exploded in my catalog. I had many pieces with the accordion or for solo accordion. Well, in the past, I was thinking that it was not so interesting as an instrument. I thought it was useful only to dance in the country. Yes, it's nice, but no way to write something really interesting. Well, I met an accordion player, and he suggests me, well, if you have time, come to my home, and I will show some scores, and I will play something for you. I was, well, I wanted not to be unkind. I said, yes, I will go, but thinking that I was going to waste my time. Well, after that hour, I decided immediately to write a piece for solo accordion. Immediately. So I repeat, we have to be curious, because in the same room that is showing us the possibilities of the instrument, well, is really easy that we can change opinion and we can learn many things about that instrument.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As my next question, I would like to ask you about your collaboration with Sergio Sorrentino. You have written pieces for electric guitar. And could you please tell us about this collaboration and this kind of music?
Well, we can continue with the same things that I was saying some minutes ago. Of course, I was curious about the electric guitars for all the world of rock music, all the things that electric guitars is bringing with itself. But I was not thinking to write something for electric guitars very soon. Sergio asked me to write a piece. Well, why don't you write something for me? And as a first thing, I asked him, well, I'm interested, but first of all, you have to give me 1 or 2 hours with the instrument. I will come to your studio, to your home, and you have to show me what you want. But please let me familiarize with the instrument. Let me show all the processors, all the pedals, all the effects that usually the electric guitar uses. And this is what we did. And I remember it was wonderful, really, really interesting, because yes, on the surface, I knew many things, but having them so directly under the eyes, it was really, really important. And that piece, is we can say that it has been written almost together, because we tested everything immediately. And of course, this means that I had to change something because it was not working. And at the same time, sometimes I found some solutions and something that that were surprises for Sergio. So it was an occasion of growth for both of us. Also here, we could say the same things that we said about the pieces for solo guitar. Relief, the piece for Sergio, was the first one I wrote. So it's something like Memoriale. Is a piece
for classical
very,
guitar.
very strong. Yes, yes, is a piece very strong, very also rather difficult. And the second one, later I wrote another piece for electric guitar for another guitar player, an Italian guitar player, Carlo Siega. The piece is Traccia, and it's something like relationship between Memoriale and Erma. Sotto Traccia is very silent, even if for electric guitar. But electric guitar does not mean loudness always. Electric guitar is interesting also because with the pickup can magnify also very small sounds, like a microscope. And so, not always also, some parts are a little bit violent also there, but usually is a piece that is very, very quiet, very in a contemplation of the sound. So the relationship is a really something similar. And the electric guitar is an instrument that can give still now many surprises. I think that the composers haven't still totally seen all the possibilities that the instrument can give. And so, yes, my catalog has also a piece for electric guitar. I think that my history with plucked instruments is has found last month also the two other results that I was not was possible to add to my catalog. I wrote 2 or 3 months ago for guitar, mandolin, and harp. But well, in the past I wrote also for 10-string guitar. So I did not forget anything. I have also a piece for 10-string guitar, and incredible is please don't laugh. I wrote a piece for ukulele.
Yes, I recently.
Yes, it's a very short piece. It's a short piece, but and I, of course, also this was really important to write together with the player, with Fabio Saba, because well, one can think that ukulele is a very funny instrument, it's very nice. Yes, and it is when you listen to it. When you have to write, it's not so funny because it's very difficult. Because it's tuned, the strings are tuned in a very strange way.
Right.
With the lowest one, it is not the lowest one in the pitch. So it's going back. So you have to. You need an ukulele, and I was lucky because I had at home we have an ukulele, and so also here I have to find all the position, and so you have only 1 octave, and you have only 4 strings, so it's really, but it's very nice. I I like very much to write for, we can say, strange instruments, because you have to press your brain to find something something interesting. Well, I don't know if I was able to find something interesting, but I tried, and it was very funny to write for it.
I'm sure it's very interesting, and I'm looking forward to hear and listen the first performance of these pieces. As my
The player is studying it just now.
Studying just now.
We closed the score a few days ago with some changes to. Yes. So I'm looking forward to listen to it.
Meaning, it's really interesting. Really interesting. If I'm not wrong, you have another piece for guitar duet called A Perfect B-Tone. Could you please tell us more about it? Because I saw a performance of two Japanese guitarists. It was the first performance of the piece.
Yes. Various performances, but the one you saw on the YouTube is very, very nice. One, the guitar player is Norio Sato, is the guitar player that performed for the first time in Memoriale. This piece is related to some suggestions that came out from the rock, and especially from a group named King Crimson, with a guitar player called Robert Fripp. It's not a rock piece, of course. This is not my goal. It's not what I wanted to write. Anyway, is related to some gestures of rock, some gesture related to the songs of that band. Also, the title is joking with the title of some LPs of that group. And it's interesting is one part of this project. There is another piece that is called Off Discipline for two flutes, and both the pieces are starting from the same material. They are not exactly the transcription one of the other one, so it's a piece that wants to be also here very, very strong, very direct, and with this shadow of the world of the rock. Even if I repeat, it's not a quotation of songs or something like this. I don't like that kind of pieces. Anyway, is the mood, the atmosphere that is important, not the quotation. It's a very difficult piece, also this one, unfortunately. But I'm lucky because I know a lot of very great guitar players.
Then I would like to ask you, in this piece, A Perfect B-Tone, the color is important, like Irma is one of the main important things.
It's not the main thing of the piece. Here is much more important the gesture, how to play the figures of wires. Of course, this does not mean that the color is not important at all, but is not the main goal of the piece. Is I think that this piece is more on the rhythmical side, and for the creation, well, this could be important. We have two guitars, but they are we can say that taking one bigger guitar. Usually they are playing a thing very, very similar. Very similar things. They are not doubling themselves, but they are working for the same goal, we have to say. And this means that there is not one lead guitar and the other one that is something like an accompaniment.
Yes.
And I repeat, the piece is almost always very strong, very, very furious, we have to say. And I repeat, it's really demanding because it's absolutely not easy. And we have a very fast tempo, a lot of notes to play, and it has to be played in that way. You can't slow down the tempo because the piece is dying if you do this. Anyway, I'm difficult. I had some performances of it, and always they were great performances, I have to say. So I think that about that piece is almost everything. Is another wild piece in my catalog. But my music is going very often on this side. Some is aggressive, even if I don't should like many times when I start writing a piece, I tell myself, well, now we have to write something quiet, something lyrical, and at the second bar, I'm writing with a 3F, a lot of stuff. So I'm going back to my habits. But, I will succeed in the future, I hope.
I almost listen all of your works, and they are very amazing, very new, and it's really it's always, it could be always interesting to hear your music, especially your new music. And as my last question, but not least, dear Giorgio, what are your advices to the young composers or to the person who would like to compose music?
Well, the first things that are coming in mind are these. To be curious, of course. A problem that I saw in young composers is that they think to know everything, and orientation to how important it is to listen to music. So, the first thing I suggest is, please read a lot of scores, listen to music. Don't think that you know everything. The other advice, the other of the first two that are coming in my mind, well, I have to say somehow the opposite of the first advice. You have to balance between them. Because the second advice is be yourself as soon as you can. So I repeat, are opposite advices. The first one is remember that probably you don't know everything. You have to learn a lot of things. But at the same time, please try to find your own way as soon as possible. Of course, the first attempts maybe will not so good. If you are not Mozart, will be not so great music. I think that my first pieces was terrifying, of course, and I want to forget them for the future. But I repeat, the first things that one keep in mind when he just to be a composer are those two things: to listen to how many pieces one can find, but at the same time, yes, please try to remember that you have to find very quickly your own way. If you only copy, this will not take you anywhere. It's not interesting, absolutely. Always remembering that even when you are grown up, also when you are 60 years old, for example, you have a lot. Those advices, the last one that I can give is this one, especially now, that no one will come at your home asking for your music. Please move yourself and try to find opportunities. Go in the world, find contacts, move, spread your music everywhere. Now you have a lot of opportunities to publish, to make your music known with the socials, with all the channels that we have. So help your music. This is another problems that I saw many times. Maybe I had students that are writing also good pieces, but then they don't propose them anywhere. So no one will ask for them. This is an aspect of our work, of the work of a composer, that is really, really important. You are not writing only for yourself. Yes, maybe also for yourself, this is important. But you are writing also for the others, for other people. And you have to let what you are doing. So you have to propose your music. Of course, when you are able to write interesting things, of course, and not immediately, not the first thing you wrote. But when you feel that you are grown enough to propose your music, you have to do it, absolutely. Sending to competitions, they are really important. Sending to players. So, I mean, trying to do everything you can do to help your music work in the world. This is something that young composer forget. It's hard because it's not so easy. If you are not, if your habits, if your character is not sometimes it's not so easy to propose themselves but you have to do it. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear maestro.
And so this is
it was a great pleasure to have you today with us, and I hope we could have these talks again. Thank you so much.
Yes, maybe without so many troubles. I'm very sad for it, but I hope that it has been clear.
Thank you so much.
See you all again.
See you again. Have a great day.